Hello, good evening. Welcome to Prime Business with me, Pius Kojobaka. On to our very first story, economist Dr. Edu Sarkodie says the real recovery of the economy will be achieved by 2025. Is therefore questioning claims by the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta that the economy has turned the corner. Speaking on PM Express Business Edition, Dr. Sarkodie said the country is now witnessing signs of stability.
Read the budget. The minister, I think page 7 in his speech, made reference to the ending of 2022 when IMF, we had secured the staff level agreement and we are about entering into the IMF program. So you compare now to the time before the IMF program, some of the variables are showing positive signs, whilst others are still not showing positive signs. A typical example is the depreciation rate, which is showing positive sign. The treasury bill rate is showing positive sign compared to the pre-IMF levels. And then the inflation is showing positive sign, but instead of continuing with the decline path, it has risen again. So inflation has disappointed us. The overall GDP growth rate is also not showing a positive sign because it's been revised downwards. But the other indicators like the fiscal consolidation, which I am particularly happy, because the fiscal consolidation to me is the starting point. When the fiscals are wrong, almost every variable in the economy will be wrong. But when the fiscals are right, it will rather push other variables to be right. So the fiscal consolidation, I give the government of Ghana 100%. They have done marvelously well. Why? Because according to the IMF document, they are supposed to achieve what they call large fiscal consolidation. It's a big English. Let me break it down. They are supposed to narrow the gap between revenue and expenditure by 5.1 percentage points compared to 2022. So the 2022 figure was 11.8%. So it means that we must reduce 11.8% by 5.1%. That's about 6.7%. And then 75% of that, which is 3.8 percentage points, must be achieved only this year. So the point is, you are supposed to achieve 5.1 reduction, percentage point reduction, which is for 3 years. And out of the 5.1, 3.8 must be achieved this year, which is 75%. And the government is really on course in achieving that.
Economist and Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School, Professor John Gachi, is calling on Bank of Ghana to clarify and explain how it intends to recover the over 60 billion cedis it incurred last year as a result of the domestic debt exchange program. He argues the justifications given by the central bank over the past few days leave much to be desired, hence the need for more clarification. His concern comes on the back of the IMF's comment that the Bank of Ghana's net equity will improve significantly over time and eventually return to positive territory. But Professor John Gachi tells Joy Business the regulator must come again with inspiring justifications.
That's what we are expecting, that they should come out and give us the roadmap, that we believe that negative equity will turn around, or we believe that we'll reduce it by this percentage or this amount by the end of this year, by the end of next year, we will reduce it by this amount. So you assure the public that you are able to do something to turn the things around to make it positive. But the explanation by the Bank of Ghana is so insulting, so arrogant that I don't think we can bear that. Nobody is saying that an entity cannot make a loss and turn around. But making such a huge loss in 1 year, you need to actually explain it very well and to assure the stakeholders the program you put in place to ensure that this will not occur again. And that is what the central bank is lacking. And the IMF could not be the spokesperson for the central bank.
President of the Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Humphries has indicated that increased tariffs at the ports is constraining their businesses. According to him, the timing is not right for these increments to be made, bearing in mind the current economic conditions that businesses are battling with. He spoke on PM Express Business Edition.
Well, those are the dynamics that comes with a contraction economy, a low productive economy, and services becomes the route through which a number of revenues and levies are are collected from businesses. This government of levies coming from the port now are constraining our activities in terms of the business services that we offer within these geographical areas. So they are not pleasing and exciting times to have price adjusted. Nonetheless, one will say we need to each up to the inflation that is on the table, and therefore we cannot charge at this rate because we will not be competitive and we can't take care of our bills. So it's a chicken and egg situation. When you're on the receiving end, it's not a good time. When you're on the other end receiving or charging those bills, you're looking at it to balance your books. The reflection from the business community, it's that the macroeconomic indicators as the trend are of concern to business community in terms of the direction in which it goes. We're concerned because we are fairly aware that private funds and financing do not thrive in uncertainties. And therefore, if the inflationary rates keep trending as it is, and as at a couple of days ago, the statistician also demonstrated that, yes, the fundamentals are still weak and the inflationary basket is still up on the hill. Once you see such signs, inflation technically is a bad news to any economy. And at that position and that height, that is a real concern to the business community.
Businessman and former president of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Seth Ajiba, is pressing on government to partner with private sector organizations to provide funding for specific or targeted businesses to revive the economy. According to him, time is ripe for the government to support some entrepreneurs rather than just funding all businesses. He was speaking at the EB Connect series in Accra. Here's more.
This edition of the EB Connect by the Enterprise Bureau seeks to provide innovative ways to secure funding for startups without much struggle. According to the former president of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Seth Ajiba, the best way government can get the private sector to support the revival of the economy is targeting particular businesses with funding. He argues that the private sector is ready to partner with government to ensure a quick recovery of the economy.
Government should partner with the private sector organizations. If government entrepreneurs sometimes want to give money out, call AGI. We have a budget of 10 million. Who are your members? Who are seriously hungry for success? That is the thing. Not someone who wants to start something because money has come, so he wants to try his luck. Some people are really hungry for success in business, and these are the people we should identify, support them. And when we support such people, in 2-3 years, we'll see wonders. And that is how the economy is going to grow. But if we sit down and say, we don't like this man's face, so we won't give him. Oh, this lady can do well because she's on a high hill, and we give her. Even though high hill doesn't know about businesses, then we are in trouble.
In her remarks, Executive Director of the Enterprise Bureau said it is critical for startups to use sustainable ways to get funding for their operations.
As the startup ecosystem continues to thrive and grow, there is an increasing need to redefine the funding landscape. Traditional funding models have played a significant role in enabling startup growth, but they come with limitations and challenges. By exploring new models, startups will have options to choose from, and this will breathe a new air into their way of accessing capital and driving long-term success. In this edition of EB Connect, we are looking to review more of the reasons why we need to redefine the funding landscape and also explore new promising models that we can tap into.
The Enterprise Bureau Connect series creates a platform for members with the startup ecosystem to acquire new ideas to grow their businesses.
Fintech players have been entreated to expand investments in tackling cybersecurity-related challenges, according to technology practice lead at Humphries, Yashak. The fast-growing ecosystem will likely face increasing cybersecurity costs in the coming years as digitalization moves forward, hence the need for more collective efforts from players to boost operations of the sector. He spoke to Joy Business at the 2023 US Ghana Business Expo.
The Business Expo provides an overview of the current trade relations between the United States and Ghana, highlighting success stories, identifying potential areas of growth, and outlining strategies for fostering further collaboration with integrated business-to-business meetings between Ghanaian and U.S. companies. Yash explains that regulation has progressed within the space, paving way for new business models to emerge.
The key thing to keep in mind is Ghana has also came out with its own cybersecurity task force, and they have their own cybersecurity policies in place now, right? As they are growing and maturing that policy, it's not super mature, right? But still, as they are growing and maturing the policies, Molar Price has few services that we can leverage as well. But in general, we work around SIEM solutions, EDR, MDR, working through cutting-edge technologies around blockchain, artificial intelligence, right? All of those services can be leveraged in several sectors, especially the growing enterprise.
President and Chief Executive Officer for Molar Price, Emmanuel Oladake, described the prospect for the fintech space in Ghana and Africa at large as positive.
We have vision across the sub-region, across, hopefully we can get to Nigeria and South Africa. As part of the trade mission, we made a stop through these regions. We're going to actually make the final stop to Nigeria. But Ghana is a vibrant ecosystem with very talented pool of young engineers, and part of what we want to do is help them upskill and bring some of the expertise and awareness and the solutions and the technology transfer from the States to the ecosystem. As for the market segment, you talk about the financial services, the banks, oil and gas and mining. These are areas where our solution and services have really made an impact. We want to drive those outcomes and solve the challenges for these enterprise clients.
Country manager for Molar Price, Richmond Safo, said cyber attacks can be addressed with swift solutions from industry players.
So the basic challenge that we see is the increase in cyber attacks, which is evident statistically. What we are doing as a company is to build bridge the gap in terms of capacity building. So currently we have a next gen program that we are running. It's a graduate trainee program. We enroll interested candidates on the program for 6 months.
Molar Price is empowering data protection with cutting-edge tools and services, ensuring next-generation cybersecurity solutions.
More business news on Prime Business. Green revolution is the use of better management techniques and tools like fertilizers, pesticides, and high-yielding varieties of crops to dramatically increase the production of crops. One institution that plays a key role in achieving this on the continent is Agro. Here's a teaser ahead of tomorrow's episode of Food Chain, where my colleague Emma Davis engages country manager for Agro, Juliet Lampo Agro.
Green revolution has the potential to increase agricultural production, cost self-sufficiency and reduce imports, improve commercial farming, which would lead to addressing unemployment, among others. One institution advocating for this revolution is the Agro. Juliet Lampo Agro is country director for Agro.
We have shifted through phases, looking at initially building the structures that will help that transformation to happen. The human capacity, support for training of researchers, plant breeders, so that we have the basics that will drive the process. We have moved on from that point into building systems, looking at investing in the seed systems, soil health systems, input systems, market systems, so that all these come together to work towards supporting the agricultural sector.
There are arguments that technology is a major driver of agricultural transformation, but in Ghana, the adaptation process has been slow. In a bid to promote an inclusive transformation of agri-food systems, Agro is investing $26 million in Ghana's agri sector with focus on technology in the next 5 years.
Production is increasing, productivity is not increasing as fast. So we still have yield gaps of about 50% for most of our produce. Now, productivity is not going as high because there is still gaps in adoption of technology. And why are farmers not adopting the right technology? Because the right market incentives are not being transmitted to them. So we seek to support the end of the market and value addition so that we can drive production, so that farmers are incentivized to adopt the right technologies. And we're looking to invest not less than $26 million in the new strategy.
Touching on government's flagship program, Planting for Food and Jobs, Juliet believes the program is quite ambitious to achieve.
I must admit that there might have been challenges with delivery. Initial observations looks at the fact that it seems a little bit ambitious. We have to taper down some of those ambitions.
She further called on government to include relevant stakeholders, especially the youth, in policy formulation.
The policy making process needs a lot of work, including consultations of who is even at the table in the policy making process. For instance, we are talking about agriculture being the vehicle for job creation for young people. But when we craft our agriculture policies, how many young people are at the table? But even when they are there, do they have the capacity to engage with the process? So getting the right people to the table to craft the policies is important.
Take a listen to some recommendations by Juliet to government.
There is a future for the agricultural sector. We just need to get the young people in by making sure that technology comes to play. We reduce the drudgery that is involved in agriculture. We make agriculture more profitable.
The Ghana Cocoa Board has announced that it will make investment into quaternary health infrastructure to help its farmers and also promote health tourism. This type of health facility, according to Cocoa Board, will be higher compared to the tertiary healthcare system such as the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. The following report has more.
Cocobod is already investing in the health sector through its Cocoa Clinic project. According to Cocobod, it has currently enrolled most cocoa farmers on the National Health Insurance Scheme to help them access free health care. Delivering a lecture at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, the Chief Executive of Cocobod, Joseph Edu, said the investment will yield good returns in the future.
Some cases which go beyond tertiary consideration, when it comes to medical services, you have the tertiary. The tertiary are what, let's say, Kolebu 37, and then other teaching hospitals like Confanoche will handle. But beyond that, the cases ought to be sent outside Ghana, the country. There are cases that cannot be treated here, and they are taken outside. Now, since the Ghana Cocoa Board and the cocoa industry plays a pivotal role, in supporting the development of this country, we think it is important that we arrange with the private sector to have such a facility in Ghana, and we call that the quaternary, the quaternary facility. Once we have that, then it will even become a tourism, health facility, so that people from the West African region, for example, instead of maybe going to South Africa or going to Europe, going to, let's say, Asia or any place, going to the US for certain treatment, can then come to Ghana and come to the...
Touching on unfinished cocoa roads in the hinterlands, Mr. Edu said there are plans to restart all such projects.
The ongoing projects will be completed. The new ones are not going to be, considered. So we will try and complete roads that are ongoing. We have a number of these roads all over the country. We want to complete them to make sure that, we have access to all these communities. And I did explain that it's key. It's not just for the haulage of cocoa, from the farmers or the farm gate to the ports, or for inputs, for instance, fertilizers, to reach our farmers, but most importantly, to let our farmers access social amenities, to be able to, easily get to the hospitals, to the clinics, even to the markets, that's very key. And that's why Cocoa Board, we go in.
Can we get music? Ecobank Ghana has organized a conference for holders of its junior savings account to inculcate and promote the culture of savings in young people. According to the Executive Director of Ecobank Ghana, Dr. Edward Botwe, children stand to enjoy interest on the amounts they save, thereby increasing their savings.
The Ecobank Ghana Junior Savings Account is suitable for young people between the ages of 0 to 18. The conference was also aimed at educating children on the numerous benefits of savings. In an interview, Executive Director of Ecobank Ghana, Dr. Edward Botwe, said it is crucial to inculcate savings culture in children at a young age.
In terms of returns that they will receive, there are lots of them. One, the interest rates that we pay out on this account, but even beyond the interest rates that we pay out, I think the whole culture of getting kids to learn how to save, the ideas and thoughts that we share with them, the benefits go beyond interest rate. It goes way beyond having an account. It covers lessons that we do share with them also.
He also urged parents to open the junior savings account for their children in order to benefit from the returns.
For parents who don't have accounts for their kids, I'll say it is something that perhaps they should consider. Beyond the funds that you help them save, it also helps them to learn that habit of having to save.
Ecobank Ghana also reiterated their commitment to helping young people to have a safe and secured future.
Time for your stock market update with Patrick Agama.
On the stock market this week, trades were recorded in 26 equities. Total volumes traded decreased sharply by 79% week on week to about 1.2 million shares. Total values traded also decreased by 78% to about 2 million Ghana cedis. MTN led in both volumes traded and values traded by more than 78%. The GSE Composite Index fell slightly on the back of three laggards to close the week at a year-to-date of 24.83%. The loss on the Financial Stock Index deepened to close the week at a year-to-date of negative 17.51%. The market recorded three gainers and three laggards. GCB gained 10 pesos to close at 3.4 Ghana cedis per share. FAMOC followed by gaining 4 pesos to close at 1 cedi 36 pesos per share. Standchart closed at 13.55 Ghana cedis, gaining 5 pesos per share. MTN Ghana, Access Bank and Ecobank were the laggards. Ecobank lost 50 pesos to close at 4 Ghana cedis, 90 pesos. Access Bank lost 28 pesos to close at 3 cedis, whilst MTN lost 5 pesos to close at 1 cedi 50 pesos per share. For next week, we still expect MTN to dominate activities as the ex-dividend date approaches.
Thanks for your